everybody. It's another Conversations With, and with me today is Bonnie Wallace. And Bonnie is back. We had a wonderful program last week, and you got a lot of background. And one of the things, in addition to musical therapy and other things that Bonnie does, she does yoga. And today we're going to spend some time, and Bonnie is going to show us some simple things that you can do. But we want to caution everybody. Don't try to do these unless you get professional advice or you talk to somebody, a doctor or especially, before you try these. But she's just going to do them so you get an idea of what you can do. And you know, in fact, if you're that interested, you can call Bonnie and she'll come and show you. You know, so we'll do that. But anyway, Bonnie, it's great to have you back.
Thank you for having me back. I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's great. So what are we going to do today?
Well, today we're going to share a little yoga, which I have sequenced in a specific order into what I call Renew Body Sequence. So Renew Body Sequence I created back in 2008, and it's a simple way of moving through the life cycle. So you're moving through all the phases of growth and development, and then fading off, and then rebuilding again to renew and move through again. So it's something like, I have a friend who was in seminary school to become a priest, and he said, you know, Bonnie, every morning we're born again. You know, every morning is a new day. It's a new experience, a new way to be born again. So, and another way of thinking about it is when we move through the cycles of our life, you know, we'll be living in a certain place. Like I just, you know, moved to Charlton from Auburn. You know, that cycle of my life in Auburn came to an end. It came to a close, and now this is a new cycle in Charlton. You know what I mean? So
yeah, well, you know, when you put it that simply, it's really true. I mean, we take so much for granted, unfortunately. And one of the biggest things we take for granted is waking up in the morning, you know, and whatever time you get up. I happen to be an early riser, and I get up bright and early, and the first thing I do is I say, thanks, pal. Made it through another day. You know, I used to tell people I go like this, and if I don't hit wood, made it through another night, you know. But we do, and to your point, and what you just said is so it just, wow. It's true. You wake up in the morning, and it's the beginning of a whole new cycle. Mm-hmm. It's a day that's there in front of you, and you have no idea how it's going to end up, you know?
Yep, and just like you said to me when we met at Dunkin' Donuts, you know, you said, I remember it so distinctly, you said, something great happened to you and I this morning. Something great happened to both of us, and I had just, you know, got myself locked out of my house, so I wasn't really thinking about anything great at that moment. And you said, we both woke up.
That's right.
We both woke up, and I was like, you're right. That is great, and it is a new day. And
that's right.
So this Renew Body Sequence is a way of taking something that is very natural and very intuitive to our bodies, which is that life cycle that we move through, and creating this movement system, Renew Body Sequence, this movement sequence, to sort of integrate the whole self and work all the different muscle groups, wake all the different muscle groups up, and really bring ourselves to a feeling of wholeness, feeling whole. Yeah.
Well, you know, the one thing that happens, and you gotta know me. I'm crazy. You gotta understand that. I'm a nut. But the one thing that bugs me, and when you grow and you age, I used to be able to run up and down a ladder. I can't do that anymore. You know, I have to be I go down the cellar stairs, I have to hold the rail. Mm-hmm. I got to make sure I don't fall. And so the bind is where you used to be able to zip up and down those stairs. As you age, your body ages with you. And unfortunately, you can't really do that. That's why there's no 84-year-old Tom Brady's. You know, I mean, it's that simple. And the thing is that, and then you get the phenomenons like a Brady, who's in his 40s and playing as well as he's ever played. But if you read anything about him and you understand him, he works out. The minute the season ends, he doesn't stop. He works out daily, you know, every single day, and keeps his, to your point, his whole body in incredible shape, you know, so he's ready for the next season. So But it is, and to your point, you begin that new day, and it's a whole new thing. And so the same with your body. As you go through life, you have to keep rejuvenating that.
Exactly. You made me think of this yoga teacher. She's the oldest living yoga teacher. She's 99 years old. Her name is Tao. Her first name is T-A-O, Tao. And she just actually co-taught a class. I follow her on Instagram with the youngest yoga teacher, who's 12. And they co-taught a big retreat together, this 12-year-old and this 99-year-old
Wow.
together. And she's in amazing shape.
Oh yeah,
And she does yoga every day.
that's right.
So I believe, and again, this is, like I said, I started this back in 2008, so it's 9 years young, but
Yeah.
I've been practicing it for 9 years. And I believe, and I've been sharing it in classes and workshops, and I believe that even just a small amount of yoga, like 20 minutes of this Renew Body sequence every day, or even, 15, really can help maintain the body's mobility in all the joints and help maintain that it's not just about the body's being able to move, but also the emotional state. Part of the intention for this program is, all of us, when we come to the end of these cycles in our lives, we have an opportunity to grieve. It's, we talked about maybe working
Yeah.
in hospice and working
Yeah.
for hospice music therapy. And a lot of times we, lose people in our life, we lose things, situations come to an end, and our culture is very hush-hush about grief, and people like to keep that in the closet.
Well, look, we just went through a horrendous week
Mm-hmm.
in this country. Maybe a horrendous month where we have these bizarre shootings that are going on, and even we don't even live anywhere near Texas,
Mm-hmm.
but you can just have that compassion, and so in our own way we do grieve. We say, "Wow, oh my God, isn't that awful?"
Well, and I
You know?
think too, when we hear about those things, it triggers a response in us that goes back to
Yeah.
any trauma that we've experienced firsthand, or any grief that we've experienced firsthand. And so what happens is those emotions kind of bubble up, and as a culture, we don't really have a good way of processing and coping with them. We don't really have a good
Right.
antidote, if you will.
Yeah.
And so this program, when you're coming through the cycle at the end, it's an opportunity to just let go and really allow whatever emotions to move through the body to move through them, so that we're not holding them in our bodies, where over time, if you're holding these emotions in, they can, end up with illness and injury over time.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems we all have is stress, is the amount of stress that we put on ourselves, which tightens us all up, and we're in knots sometimes over all kinds of things. I mean, we talk about the loss of somebody, the grief, but all kinds of things. Not getting the job you interviewed for, disappointments in life, whatever they may be, and we all face them daily. Things happen that we didn't anticipate. Like I said, you wake up in the morning and you have no idea what that day is going to be like. How is it going to end for you? And will it end happy? Will it end sad? What will it be? And so we go through these things, and your body takes the beating.
It can. It definitely can. And I think that this, just allowing ourselves these little times here and there to, once a day, do some movement, because when we're moving, we're actually allowing those emotions to move through the body. I think a lot of times people will, try to talk things out, which is a great way to process things. But a lot of times we just talk in circles and we never really get to the other side.
And never solve the problem.
We never really progress.
Right.
But when we take it into the physical body, we really give ourselves that ability to move through it and really feel the sensation of moving forward. So that's what this sequencing of yoga
Right.
poses is for. I structured it so that it can be done in different ways. So right now, today we'll be able to do this sitting down, and
Okay, good.
for those people who've checked in with their doctor and you're able to participate,
Right.
go ahead and participate with us. You can give it a try. I always take my shoes off
Okay.
and socks off because there's over 2,000 nerve endings in each foot. And so
2,000?
2,000.
And we walk on them all day long.
And we do, but we don't get the benefit of the
That's
free
right.
reflexology treatment. When you take your socks and shoes off, and I learned this in my trainings early on, when you take your socks and shoes off, you are just grounding the feet into the earth, and you're getting those little reflex, all the little nerve endings are getting a little massage.
Oh, wow.
So you're getting the yoga benefit, but then you're also getting the benefit of the foot massage at the
Good.
same time.
Super.
So just a nice way to start.
Shoes and socks off. Boom.
So why don't we get started?
Okay.
We'll just begin by taking a deep breath in and sighing it all out. Do you want to take a deep breath in and sigh it out? And then we'll bring our hands onto our knees. We'll turn our palms face up, and we'll close our eyes. And just let the shoulders come down and back. And we can just close the mouth and begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So really sensing the breath. Notice the breath, how it feels as it comes in and as it rolls out. One thing that we can do is to try to lengthen the breath. So as you're breathing in, count how many counts it takes you before you have to exhale. And then count how many counts it takes you to exhale before you have to inhale. And see if the next time you inhale, you can add 1 to that. So if you had 4, make it 5. If you had 6, make it 7. And then gradually exhale. And on your next breath, see if you can lengthen the breath again by adding another number on your inhale. And then on your exhale, lengthening it by adding another number on the exhale. And we can just gradually open the eyes, turn the palms face down. So that was the first phase. I call it letting go. It's really just connecting to the present moment, letting go of all other thoughts that are distracting. Once we're thinking about our breath, it's hard to think about other things because we're thinking about the breath.
But it's amazing. You can do it.
Yeah.
I lengthened every time.
Yeah.
And let it, just by adding 1.
Yeah. So you were really just thinking about counting your breath, right?
Yeah,
you
that's all.
weren't thinking about any other.
That's all I was. No.
Yeah. So it really just a simple way to let go of everything else and be in the body. So we're inside these bodies every day, but so often we're not thinking about the sensation of being in a body. We're thinking about 9 million other things that we don't actually feel what it feels like to be in a body. So just coming back into the body.
In fact, honestly, we never really think about our bodies.
Right.
Unless you bump your elbow and it hurts.
Until you get hurt, and then you've immediately brought back into the body again.
Yeah, oh, my elbows. I just whacked my elbow,
Exactly.
But yeah, it's amazing. When you just said that, I just said, how many people spend any time at all during the day thinking about their own bodies?
Sensing.
Unless they jam their finger or they cut themselves or whatever.
Right. But it's that opportunity to reconnect to the sensation of the body and to really become present in the moment. Because once you're in your body, you're in this moment. You're nowhere else.
That's right.
You're right here and now. So that's, half of our stress comes from being 800 other places. Once we come back here and now, some of the stress is already dissolved.
And trying to solve 8 million problems.
Right.
It goes back to the serenity prayer.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You're right
it's
here.
It's amazing how many people try to change things they can't.
Mm-hmm. So just coming back to this present moment, that was the first, well, it was actually 0. There's 13. So 0 is 1, and then 1 is. So we're gonna move a little bit here into the next phase. So we'll just kind of be floaty. So just kind of floating the shoulders side to side, floating the spine, the head. Just kind of feeling a floaty sensation. You begin to like bring movement into the fingers, kind of stretching into the fingers. And we'll let the hands come back down. So that is the first phase, so number one. The first one was 0, so it's a little confusing, but in the sequence. And that's floaty sensation, that feeling of floating is like going back into the womb. So a lot of times, like we're sitting today, this can be done on the floor, and I'll do a lot of stretching on the floor and really exploring like a tiny little infant would be doing as they're expanding and growing in the womb. So from there, the next phase I call vision, and that's where we sort of look ahead to what we want to accomplish. So you know how you said you wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're going to do?
That's right.
So this is where we look ahead to be really clear about something that we want to accomplish or something that we want to feel, So for instance, we're trying to build a house, right? So my goal is to have this house built, and when it's completed, I want to feel really safe and grounded.
Right.
So finding that emotion, whatever it is that you want to do, connecting to that emotion and taking a moment to really imagine yourself, whatever it is that you want to accomplish today. Like, so say there was something that you wanted to do today. Imagine you're done with that and then how you're going to feel. Just take a moment to close your eyes and let your eyes sort of turn forward and up, so they kind of go into the middle of your forehead. And the yogis call this the third eye, the wisdom point. And as the eyes sort of turn up and forward towards the middle of the brow, just coming into that sensation, the feeling of completion, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, how will you feel when it's done? And allowing that emotion to sort of come through the body. And gradually opening up the eyes and just sort of noticing again the little shifts that happen when we connect to that vision ahead. And then the third phase, so we're moving into number 3 now, is I call it cradle. Actually, no, but that's number 4. So third is sort of moving forward towards the goal. So if you can, scooch to the edge of the chair so that your feet are under your thigh muscles, and we're gonna stand up. So we're gonna allow the crown of the head to just kind of float up, float up, float up. And then keep the head floating up, and then keep, as your head is floating up, gradually come back down to perch on the edge of the chair. So we're just allowing the self to move forward towards whatever it is that we're moving forward to. And then from there, we're going to the next phase. So that was moving forward. The next phase is nurturing. So it's when the baby is on the floor or in a cradle, and the baby cannot, when we were this age, we had to get picked up and moved around, or else the only thing we could do is what?
Lay there.
Yeah, or roll around on the floor. Roll around. So when I do this in class, we do some fun rolling things on the floor, and everyone kind of looks at me like, all right, Bonnie. But then they come back because it's fun. So where we're not going to roll on the floor today, the way that the one move that we can do to sort of encourage that nurturing feeling is sort of like just give the self a little wrap around, take your arms, sort of feel your shoulders, close the eyes, and just kind of feel that stretch on the back body. Deep breath in, sigh it all out. Let the hands come down to the knees. And then we'll inhale both hands up high. Stretching, and then turn to the right. Let your hands come to the chair, to the side of you. Twist around, face the back. And see if you can take one hand behind you and the other hand in front. And again, give yourself a little hug. Feeling that safety, that nurturance, and then inhaling up. Exhaling, twisting to the left, letting that hand come to the armrest, and then you're gonna bring one arm behind you, the other one in front. Deep breath in. Exhale, side all out. And then we come back to center. So that emotional state is that of being nurtured and supported. A lot of times I'll, talk about feeling the support of the earth beneath our feet, feeling that support that we have. And then from here, we finally get to transition into seated. So seating postures, which we've been seated the whole time. But so scooching forward on the chair, letting the heels kind of slide under the thigh muscles. If you look at little babies, right, when they're developing and they first start sitting up, their spines are so upright. They're so tall in their, and they look like little Buddhas because they have this, grandiose appearance about them. They haven't, taken on the weight of the world onto their shoulders yet. So they have this very upright spine. So just imagining that very tall, upright spine, and we'll take a deep breath up to the sky, stretching the hands up, pressing the palms together, and then bringing the hands right in front of the heart. Deep breath in, close the eyes. Side all out. And we'll take the hands, interlace the hands, bring them behind the head. I call this beach pose. It's like you're relaxing at the beach. So we kind of twist over to the side. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, round the spine and twist to the other side. Inhale, lift the heart up. Elbows kind of lift out to the sides. Exhale, rounding down, and then bring the hands down to the thigh muscles. So from here, we've kind of done our sitting. We're gonna transition to standing again. So we'll kind of slide the heels under the legs, and we'll allow the crown of the head to float up, 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 up. So now we're coming into standing. So in yoga, we call it mountain pose. So you want to take the heels right under your hips. So kind of lining the heels up so they're right under your hips. And then rolling the shoulders down and back, turning the palms face forward, allowing for a gentle bend in the knees. So a lot of times when we stand upright, what happens is people will lock their knee. They'll actually press back into the knee and actually lock the knee joints, which can actually cause us to be unstable. So just do it for a second, lock your knee out, and kind of see how it's like you're much more wobbly than if you have a slight micro bend in the knee that gives you a little bit more stability. So I've attended yoga classes with teachers.
You say that, I gotta say, when we were in high school playing football, we learned that. You're much better when you start to position. Don't stand straight when you're going to run anywhere. Bend your knees and go.
Exactly. So you learned the right way.
Yeah. Well, 15 years old. Yeah. And I just remembered it because I remember when we were in school, and they one time they used to have the 3/4 stance. Because it's much faster to get off this than if you're standing there, stand straight tall, and you got to go start running. Everything's got to move at once. Where this way, you're already in motion.
Yeah.
And we learned that. At least I did it. Malden High School in football.
Which is wonderful because there are some yoga teachers who will say lock your knees, and I shy away from that. I don't think I've had to have surgery on my knees, so I'm one that really wants to make sure everyone's joints are protected.
The other thing, your knees,
And so keeping the knees soft and then letting the palms turn forward, the shoulders roll down and back. So you're finding this nice tall spine, the crown of the head floats up, the jaw drops down. So you can kind of feel like an upward lift from the navel. You're feeling this nice tall spine. This is mountain pose. So we'll just take a long, close the eyes, take a long, slow, deep breath in. Exhale, side all out. And then we can bring the big toes to touching now. So some people who are very slender might be able to touch both their toes and their heels together. Yeah. For some people, even touching the toes together, the big toes together, might be a challenge. So just kind of figure out what's your best. Where's your best today?
So if you get them too close, you know, now you start to wobble.
Right. So this is about balance.
Yeah.
So kind of find where you land. See, you know, as close as you can get the big toes to touching. You know, if you're super flexible and you can get the heels to touch too, great.
Yeah.
But don't worry as much about that. And then this time we're going to inhale, bringing the hands up overhead. We're going to interlace the fingers so that these three are wrapped in the index fingers are pointing straight up. So we're sort of energetically extending up to the sky. We're going to inhale and exhale, sigh it all out. Let the hands come down by the sides. So, you know, typically I would do a lot here, but let's do a wide leg stance. So we'll kind of take the legs wide and we'll just bring the arms out to the side. Deep breath in, exhale, sigh it all out. Let the hands come back down. Turn the heels in, toes out, and then this time stretch the hands up, extending in, creating space between the fingertips. Breathing in deeply, exhale, sigh it all out. Inhale up. Exhale, let the hands come down.
You know, it's amazing that without even realizing it, we in high school, when we used to do our calisthenics before a game, we did all these things. I mean, you know,
They
spread
knew
your
what they were
legs.
doing back then.
Well, it just because you had to get your body ready, because if you went into a game tight, you get hurt.
Exactly.
You get hurt. I mean, even when you were talking about, you know, before, bend your knees, I was an end. And whenever we'd go out, we would always start like this. We're ready to go. When that play was called, even if it wasn't a pass play to one of us, you know, we were going to block somebody. So we were never, you never stood tall. You get hurt if you get hit.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody comes at you, you got to be able to, you know.
So again, so these are good practices to do daily because we're always moving, we're always active. You know, think of
Right.
all the things that we do with our bodies and we're not stretching afterwards. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to get the groceries, we're, you know, driving our car around town, we're running errands, we're carrying things here and there, we're doing the dishes. One thing
We really, you know, when you think about it, from the time you jump out of that bed, or slowly get out of the bed, however you get out of bed, until the time you get back down in that bed, you have done nothing but move.
Exactly. So this is just a great
Everything,
way to wake
opening a
up.
door, closing a door, getting in and out of the car, you know, going to the store and putting the groceries in the back. I mean, you think about it, we really don't, from the time we get up out of that bed, we don't stop until we finally fall asleep again at night.
Exactly. So this is a great way to really bring the awareness back to ourselves that we're in a body, stretch all the different muscle groups, like I said, so that we're kind of waking up all those muscle groups, reintegrate our emotional selves so that when we're hit with that trigger of that piece of media that comes at us that's overwhelming, or the phone call that we weren't ready to get, we have this tool to sort of reintegrate the body. So once we've been upright, what I typically do is have people come all the way down to the floor to lie down. Now,
Yeah.
we can't do that today.
No, we got a minute to go anyway.
We've got a minute. So we can just kind of come back to where we started, close the eyes, and just come back to the breath. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. And there you go.
Wow. Well, there you are. It was unbelievable. We just don't think about how we abuse our bodies in the course of a day. We really don't.
We don't, and I think part of why we do abuse them is because we're not connected to the sensation of being in it. So when we take this time to sort of start our day with
Yeah.
a few simple stretches, doesn't take that much time, we can then begin with that awareness and also with that goal setting of
Yeah.
what do I want to do today, visioning it, seeing it, feeling it. And when we do that, it really helps us move towards it.
Right.
We are able to accomplish the things that we wanted to instead of getting to the end of the day and going, I ran around, I don't even know what I did.
Yeah. Well, Bonnie, we've come to the end of a great program. I want to really thank you again. Folks, Bonnie Wallace is going to be with us every month, and we'll do different things together. And I hope you enjoyed it. But remember, don't try this at home.
Unless you check with your doctor first.
Yeah. But, but it's been great, and we really appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Thank you, Dick.